I woke up in a world where spiritual energy had returned, monsters roamed freely, and strength meant everything. Yet all I ever wanted was to live a quiet, lazy life. Unfortunately, my own organs had completely different plans. My stomach secretly plotted a rebellion overnight, my liver worked overtime refining the toxic milk tea I drank into pure spiritual energy, my brain hijacked my nervous system to deduce peerless cultivation techniques, and even my kidneys roared as they supplied nuclear-powered energy. All because they were too embarrassed that their owner only had a pathetic combat power of 0.8. They decided to start a ruthless 24/7 self-improvement program without asking for my permission. When I finally woke up and casually stretched my body, I almost tore the surrounding space apart with the force of it. Earlier that day, during the Academy's annual test, the giant screen flashed red before stopping at my result. Luo Qi, blood energy, 0.8. Everyone burst into laughter. One student mocked, "Even my pet dog scored 0.9. Luo Qi, you're weaker than a dog." Another sneered, "He got full marks in theory class, yet his body is weaker than a sickly scholar." I stood on the testing platform, clenching and unclenching my fists while forcing myself to stay calm. I had lived in this world for 18 years after transmigrating here, but my body was like a broken bucket. No matter how many expensive medicines I consumed, I could never retain enough blood energy. Someone shouted, "Luo Qi, you'd better transfer to the logistics department and become a butcher. That's probably the only job you're qualified for." In a world where only power mattered, even breathing felt like a crime for someone as weak as me. I lowered my head, ignored the endless ridicule surrounding me, and dragged my exhausted body back to my tiny apartment. I collapsed onto my wooden bed and stared blankly at the ceiling. "I'm done. Just let the world end already," I muttered before closing my eyes. If only I could become stronger, just by lying here. Suddenly, a crisp notification echoed inside my mind, and a blue holographic chat window appeared directly in front of my eyes. It announced, "Host's willpower critically low, body functions extremely dissatisfied. To ensure survival, your brain has created a group chat." I blinked in disbelief. Who said that? What group chat? Before I could react, messages flooded the screen. Heart has joined the group. Liver has joined the group. Kidneys have joined the group. Stomach has joined the group. I rubbed my eyes. Am I crazy? Or has the whole world gone insane? The heart immediately complained, "Brothers, did you all see today's test result? 0.8. I beat 100,000 times every day just to support this useless guy." The liver sighed. "Don't remind me. I tried absorbing a little spiritual energy earlier, but this pathetic body couldn't even hold it." The stomach grumbled, "The master only fed us 1 cup of instant noodles tonight. What am I supposed to do with that?" Then the brain interrupted everyone. "Complaining won't solve anything. According to my calculations, if the host keeps wasting his life, we will either die during a monster invasion or work ourselves to death at the bottom of society." The heart asked, "Then what do we do?" The brain answered, "Simple. If the host refuses to work hard, we'll cultivate ourselves. Everyone begins 24/7 overtime immediately." I stared at the screen with twitching lips. "Wait, did any of you ask for my permission?" The heart proudly replied, "I'll start first. These blood vessels are more clogged than morning traffic, activating turbo blood circulation." Instantly, my chest exploded with unbearable pain as my heartbeat thundered like war drums. I grabbed my chest and screamed, "Ow, that hurts, be gentle." The liver laughed. "Heart, nicely done. My turn. Activating overclock detox mode. I'll remove every toxin from the body tonight." The brain announced, "Accessing memory database, taking control of nervous system, cultivation technique successfully deduced, beginning automatic cultivation." I found myself completely unable to move while my body started vibrating with a mysterious rhythm. Spiritual energy gathered around me, forming tiny whirlpools before flowing into my body. The kidneys shouted awkwardly, "Everyone is working so hard. What about me? I still haven't found a chance to show my nuclear power." The heart answered, "Idiot. Convert your energy into pure vitality and support us." "Roger that. Nuclear power activated," the kidneys replied proudly. I rolled my eyes and groaned, "You guys are unbelievable," before blacking out completely. The next morning, warm sunlight landed on my face as I slowly opened my eyes. "Why do I feel even more exhausted after sleeping?" I muttered while pushing against my wooden bed to sit up. Crack! The solid wooden bed shattered into pieces beneath my hand like a dry biscuit. I froze, staring at the giant hole my palm had punched through the bed. Did this bed expire overnight? Right then, the group chat popped up again. The brain casually said, "Our useless master is awake. Last night we only cultivated the fierce bull technique 1,000 times. Right now, you could probably defeat 10 versions of your old self." I stared silently at the broken bed for almost half a minute before finally shouting, "What the hell? These little traitors actually borrowed my body while I was sleeping and cultivated without telling me." I checked the time. 7:40? I'm going to be late. Forgetting everything else, I grabbed my backpack and ran out of the apartment. Traffic was completely jammed, so there was no chance of getting a taxi. Guess I'll have to run to school. The moment I started sprinting, 2 new notifications appeared. Left leg has joined the group. Right leg has joined the group. Seriously? Even my legs now? I asked. The left leg complained, "The host finally remembers we exist. I thought we were only decoration." The right leg added, "You're way too slow. This speed is insulting." The heart immediately responded, "Increasing blood supply by 300%. The legs shouted together, "Launching!" Suddenly, the scenery around me blurred into streaks. Even the street racers couldn't keep up with my speed. I laughed nervously. "This is amazing, but nobody taught me how to stop." The legs answered without shame. "Sorry, we only trained acceleration last night. Braking system not installed. Recommended solution: use physical friction." "Are you kidding me?" I yelled as the school gate came into view. With no other choice, I made a desperate 90-degree turn and slammed both feet into the ground. Sparks exploded beneath my shoes before I crashed straight into the school's brick security wall. My body became perfectly embedded inside it. The group chat displayed, "Navigation complete, 5-star rating, minor accident." Covered in dust, I painfully pulled myself out of the wall and smiled awkwardly at my completely stunned homeroom teacher. "Teacher, since I technically made it onto campus, I'm not late, right?" The homeroom teacher's lips twitched as he glared at me. "A power leak? Luo-Chi, are you seriously telling me a power leak bent a reinforced alloy testing machine like that?" Before I could think of another excuse, the principal, Zhang Daoyuan, walked over. As a peak second-rank martial artist, his presence alone was overwhelming. He crouched beside the destroyed machine, his pupils instantly shrinking. "A full power strike of over 800 kilograms. Was this your doing?" I instinctively wanted to deny it, but alarms suddenly exploded inside my head. My brain immediately warned me, "Warning! Peak second-rank martial artist detected. His spiritual perception is extremely sharp. Probability of your lie being exposed, 90%. Recommended strategy, mix truth with one believable lie." I forced an awkward smile and looked at the principal. "Honestly, I don't know what happened. Yesterday I ate a strange red fruit in the mountains behind the city, and when I woke up this morning, I was suddenly like this." The principal's eyes widened. "A red fruit? That was probably a rare heavenly treasure." He immediately grabbed my shoulder and declared, "From today onward, you're one of the Academy's key students. Come to my office with me." Before he could finish speaking, a thunderous growl erupted from my stomach. My face instantly turned pale as overwhelming hunger swallowed my sanity. Inside the group chat, every organ erupted into chaos. "Emergency! Emergency! That punch drained all our energy," my right arm shouted. "I fought for our honor. Don't blame me." My stomach roared back, "Shut up! If we don't eat right now, I'm going to start digesting the host himself." The brain calmly announced, "Host is approaching collapse. Immediate consumption of high-calorie food is required." At that moment, my vision turned slightly green, and the rosy-faced principal standing in front of me suddenly looked exactly like a giant roasted ham. Supporting myself with trembling legs, I weakly looked at him and said, "Principal, forget the office for now. Could you lend me some money? I need to get to the cafeteria immediately." 10 minutes later, I was sitting in the cafeteria with a mountain of empty plates piled in front of me. Braised pork, roasted pork knuckles, giant steamed buns. My hands moved so fast they left after images. My teeth complained, "Too slow. Let me handle it." My stomach proudly laughed. "I'm the strongest stomach in existence. I can even digest stones." Activating black hole devouring mode. The liver added, "Large amounts of fat and protein detected. Beginning ultra-efficient conversion into blood energy." My blood energy slowly climbed little by little, yet the students around me stared as if they had just witnessed a monster. "Is Luo-Chi the reincarnation of a starving ghost?" one student whispered. Another replied, "Don't talk. He's already looking for another plate. Didn't he just finish 50 people's worth of food? How is he still not full?" White steam rose from my body as my blood energy circulated at full speed. In the end, I even finished every last drop of meat soup the cafeteria lady had left. My stomach still complained, "This is all junk food. I want demon beast meat and spiritual herbs." Right then, Zhao Hu walked into the cafeteria with his followers. He casually poured a dark red medicinal pill into his hand. The moment I smelled it, my entire body froze. The medicinal aura coming from that pill was at least 10,000 times richer than all the braised pork I had just eaten. I shot to my feet, staring at the bottle in Zhao Hu's hand while swallowing hard. "Brother Hu, that candy-looking thing smells amazing. Mind letting me taste one? Just one. I don't mind if you've already touched it." Before Zhao Hu could even react, the bottle suddenly became lighter. A moment later, I was already standing 2 meters away, innocently chewing on one of his pills. Smiling brightly, I waved at him. "Thanks, Brother Hu. I'll just borrow one for now. I'll return the rest later. You're such a kind person. I just suffered a work injury, so I really needed some nourishment." Zhao Hu stared into my completely sincere eyes, and a chill ran straight up his spine. He remembered the terrifying speed I had just displayed. If he wanted to cut my throat instead of stealing that pill, I'd already be dead. Trembling in fear, he turned around and ran away without another word. I couldn't help but smile. What wonderful friendship between classmates. After finally eating my fill, I headed to the martial arts library. The principal had specially approved my entry, allowing me to choose one cultivation technique. The sleepy old librarian lazily glanced at me and said, "New student, you only have 1 hour on the first floor. Pick one manual and copy it before leaving." I respectfully nodded before walking between the shelves packed with countless cultivation manuals. I casually grabbed one called Mountain Splitting Palm. Immediately, my brain joined the discussion, followed by my eyes. Quantum scanning mode activated. The eyes quickly analyzed the manual before announcing, "Scan complete. Warning, trash, crude force application. Long-term practice may cause joint damage. Recommendation, destroy immediately." My hand twitched, nearly throwing the book away. I picked up another technique. Flame Saber. Trash. High probability of burning your own eyebrows. Another one. Crushing Stone Kick. Trash. Easy way to break your own bones. Another. Mixed Origin Technique. The king of trash. The only benefit is helping you eat 2 extra bowls of rice. I ended up grabbing book after book, flipping through only 2 pages before throwing each one aside faster than someone counting money. Suddenly, my eyes activated microscopic vision and focused on the dusty top corner of the highest shelf. Special spiritual fluctuation detected. My eyes lit up. I carefully pulled out an old, tattered booklet whose title had almost completely faded away. What's this? The scan finished almost instantly. Analysis complete. Incredible. This is a fragment of the ancient body-rending technique, a missing piece of the divine demon breathing art. Although incomplete, its energy conversion efficiency is 10 times higher than ordinary cultivation techniques. I couldn't hide my excitement. This one! I want this one! I only tested it for a moment, and every pore in my body felt like it was singing. It's amazing. Hugging the damaged manual tightly, I rushed to the registration desk. 3 days later, the practical examination finally began outside Jiang City at an abandoned monster-infested battlefield. 30 elite students stood ready, all nervous and excited, while I leaned lazily against the transport vehicle with huge, dark circles under my eyes. During those 3 days, my crazy organs had tortured me without mercy. My brain had created a 24-hour cultivation schedule. I practiced the breathing technique all day, and even cultivated the divine demon visualization art inside my dreams every single night. Just then, a gentle breeze carried a familiar fragrance toward me. Shen Yuwei, the Academy's strongest combat genius, walked over and asked, "Luo Qi, can I join your team?" Before I could answer, my organs completely lost their minds. "Accept immediately," the heart screamed. Host's heartbeat accelerating. "This is the smell of romance." The brain calmly analyzed. Her blood energy is extremely powerful. Teaming up with her increases survival probability by 50%. Another organ shamelessly added, "More importantly, she's beautiful." Even my filtration efficiency improved just by looking at her. The brain concluded, her combat strength makes her an excellent shield and damage dealer. Estimated survival rate, 99%. Recommendation, agree. I scratched my head helplessly. Fine, but let me make one thing clear. I won't be charging into battle. I'll handle logistics. Shen Youwei smiled. That's fine. Soon our team was complete. Besides me and Shen Youwei, there was Wang Pangzi from the defense class and a timid healer girl wearing glasses. As we stepped into the ruined city, cold wind howled through the broken streets, while distant monster growls echoed from every direction. Shen Youwei kept one hand on her sword, completely alert. Wang Pangzi and the healer nervously followed behind her, but I casually walked around as if I were strolling through my own backyard. The reason was simple. My view of the world was completely different from everyone else's. My eyes activated infrared vision. Left side, 2 rats fighting inside the unfinished building. Right side, 2 rabbits. My nose suddenly interrupted. Wait, I smell something amazing. 500 meters ahead, a 100-year-old dragon beard herb inside the stomach of a giant python. My stomach instantly exploded with excitement. Dragonbeard herb, snake soup too! I want snake soup! Host, charge! I held my aching head while sighing. Everyone else saw this place as a deadly battlefield, but my organs treated it like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Suddenly, Shen Youwei raised her hand. Her expression became serious. Stop. I smell blood. There was a fight up ahead. Everyone stay alert. I casually shrugged. It's fine. Just a leaf python that recently ate too much and is feeling sleepy. Shen Youwei looked at me in shock. How do you know that? I awkwardly touched my nose. Natural talent? My nose immediately protested inside the chat. Talent? I'm your ancestor. Hurry up. If we're too late, the snake will digest the dragonbeard herb. Just as the 4 of us approached the ruins, a black shadow suddenly exploded from the side. A shadow cat lunged toward me at lightning speed. Luo Qi, watch out! Shen Youwei reacted instantly, drawing her sword and slashing with a brilliant streak of sword light, but the shadow cat effortlessly dodged her attack. Its razor-sharp claws rushed straight toward my throat, stopping less than 10 centimeters away as death reflected in its murderous eyes. Then, inside my mind, time seemed to slow to a crawl. The brain calmly announced, warning, Peak first rank monster detected, threat level D, weaknesses identified, soft abdomen, old injury on left hind leg, vulnerabilities everywhere. The shadow cat was nothing but a walking bundle of weaknesses. I almost didn't even feel like looking at it. My brain calmly announced, balance system taking control, preparing evasive maneuver. My right leg immediately protested. Forget dodging, it's just a tiny cat. It even exposed its stomach. In that instant, my right leg transformed into a steel whip. It exploded forward with terrifying speed, creating a deafening sonic boom before smashing directly into the shadow cat. The monster flew backward even faster than it had charged at me, crashed heavily into the ground, twitched twice, and then stopped moving forever. Shen Yue remained frozen with her sword still raised. Her beautiful eyes widened in complete disbelief. I could feel my leg going numb, and inside my mind, I cursed my right leg 100 times. Brother, you went way too far. You almost tore my pants apart. Facing everyone's shocked expressions, I scratched my head and forced an innocent smile. If I said it accidentally crashed into my foot by itself, would you believe me? Shen Yue frowned, glanced at the shadow cat with its shattered ribs, then looked back at my completely innocent face. The shadow cat killed itself by running into your foot? Only an idiot would believe that, Luo Qi. Before she could continue, my organs completely ignored her. My stomach screamed, my dragon beard herb, my snake soup, hurry! If we wait any longer, that snake will digest everything. Charge! Before Shen Yue could stop me, my eyes turned green with hunger, and I dashed toward the ruins like a starving ghost. Luo Qi, don't run, it's dangerous, she shouted behind me. Deep inside the collapsed underground mall, a giant python as thick as a bucket was coiled on top of broken concrete, staring at me with cold, murderous eyes. Someone behind me yelled, Luo Qi, come back! That's a highly venomous leaf python! My brain immediately began calculating. Battle analysis complete. Weak point detected. Several damaged scales near the vital area. Recommended strategy: overpower and dismantle. My right hand laughed excitedly. My turn! The leg stole all the glory earlier. Now let me have some fun. Before anyone could react, the leaf python shot toward me like a compressed spring, opening its massive jaws to swallow me whole. At the last possible moment, my upper body twisted in an almost impossible angle, allowing the enormous mouth to brush right past the tip of my nose. As we crossed each other, my right hand instantly formed a claw and grabbed the snake precisely by its weak point. Got you! Come here! The python's enormous tail whipped around violently, smashing rocks into pieces, but it couldn't move my hand even an inch. Shen Yue and the others stood frozen. Catching a powerful monster with bare hands required terrifying judgment and unbelievable precision. My stomach impatiently yelled, stop showing off. Hurry and take out the snake gallbladder and the dragonbeard herb. I'm starving. My right arm casually lifted the enormous python before slamming it into the ground with overwhelming force. The monster became dizzy from the impact, and my left hand immediately sliced through its scales like a blade. Within less than 3 seconds, I had already removed a dark green snake gallbladder, along with the glowing dragonbeard herb hidden inside its body. The entire process flowed so smoothly that everyone watching could only stare in horror. Is this really the same Luo Qi who only had 0.8 blood energy? Someone whispered. Inside my head, my organs completely lost control. The snake gallbladder is amazing nourishment. The dragonbeard herb is incredible too. Eat them now. Don't worry about the slime. That's where all the nutrients are. My liver confidently declared, sure, it's poisonous, but who am I? I'm the king of detoxification. Just eat it. If you die, you can blame me. My hunger completely overwhelmed my reason. Without even thinking, I stuffed both the snake gallbladder and the dragonbeard herb straight into my mouth. Shen Yue's expression changed dramatically. Luo Qi, have you gone insane? You can't eat monster organs directly. They'll make your body explode. I didn't even bother chewing. I simply swallowed everything in one gulp. Almost instantly, my pale face turned rosy, and an intense wave of heat burst from inside my body. Looking at their horrified expressions, I awkwardly smiled. My blood sugar was a little low. That snake gallbladder looked really nutritious, so I couldn't resist. It actually tastes pretty good, just a little bitter. Shen Yue, Wang Pengzi, and the healer girl all stared at me as if I had completely lost my mind. A little bitter? That's what you're worried about? Before anyone could say another word, the entire ground suddenly began shaking. A thunderous roar echoed from the deepest part of the ruins. For 1 full second, my organ group chat became completely silent. Then countless red warning messages flooded my vision. Warning! Extreme danger detected. Mutated monster approaching. Even my usually fearless heart trembled. Host, run! That's the ruler of these ruins, the iron-armored tyrant dragon. Before I could move, an enormous shadow blocked out the sky. A gigantic monster as tall as a 3-story building crashed down before us. Its enormous crimson eyes weren't looking at me. They were staring directly at the dragonbeard herb that was still being digested inside my stomach. I instantly realized the truth. I had just eaten the treasure it had guarded for 3 years. The monster let out another furious roar, and a terrifying wave of hot wind slammed into my face. I forced out an awkward smile. Listen, this is all just a misunderstanding. If I spit the herb back out, would you forgive me? The only answer I received was an enormous claw descending from the sky. The iron-armored tyrant dragon charged with the force of a speeding tank. Luoqi, get back! Shen Yue shouted. Even though she knew she couldn't win, she still gritted her teeth and rushed forward. Her sword flashed with brilliant light as she aimed directly for the dragon's eye, but the blade shattered on impact. Blood burst from her hands as the recoil threw her flying into the ruins. The terrifying defense of a second-rank mutated beast left everyone in despair. As the enormous claw descended toward me, even my noisy organs fell silent. Then, at the most critical moment, my kidneys finally spoke. You guys always make fun of me, but when things get serious, it's my turn to shine. Activating adrenaline berserk mode. Instantly, it felt as if 2 volcanoes erupted from my lower back. Scorching energy surged through my spine, rushed into my brain, and flooded every corner of my body. Endless power roared through my veins. Just before the dragon's claw crushed me, I slowly raised my head. My eyes turned blood red, my skin glowed crimson, and white steam poured from every pore. With a deafening roar, I didn't dodge at all. Instead, I threw my tiny fist straight at the mountain-sized claw. The collision sounded like 2 meteors crashing together. The ground within dozens of meters collapsed as violent shockwaves scattered rocks everywhere. Through the dust, Shen Yue stared in complete disbelief. Using only one hand, I had actually stopped the iron-armored tyrant dragon's massive claw. Veins bulged all over my body like coiling dragons, while white steam continued pouring from my skin. My kidneys laughed wildly. This isn't enough. Burn every bit of energy from that snake gallbladder. Triple overdrive. My eyes glowed even brighter as I grinned like a madman. Now, get up! I grabbed the dragon's claw with one hand, twisted my waist, and actually lifted the several-ton monster completely off the ground before slamming it into the ruins with earth-shattering force. When you're sick, I'll finish you off. I turned into a crimson blur and landed on top of its body. My fists became iron hammers as I grabbed its armored scales with both hands and ripped them apart by pure brute strength. Sparks flew everywhere while the supposedly indestructible armor tore apart beneath my hands. Scalding monster blood splashed across my body, making me look like a demon crawling out of hell itself. The iron-armored tyrant dragon screamed and struggled desperately, but it was useless. 1 punch, 2 punches, 3 punches. Every strike created explosive shockwaves until hundreds of punches finally reduced its steel-hard skull into nothing but a pile of bloody pulp. Slowly, I stopped moving and remained sitting on top of the giant corpse, breathing heavily while scorching white steam escaped with every breath. My kidneys suddenly muttered weakly, "We're out of energy. I've reached my limit. The rest is up to you." The overwhelming power disappeared like a receding tide, leaving behind unbearable emptiness and an intense burning sensation. Hot! It's so hot! My vision blurred as if flames were raging inside my body. My blood-red eyes instinctively locked onto the only cool presence nearby, Shen Yue. She clutched her injured chest and stared at me in shock as I slowly walked toward her with a hoarse growl. Looking at me, covered in blood and radiating overwhelming heat like a demon god, panic finally appeared on her usually calm face for the first time. She stepped backward nervously and asked, "Luoqi, what are you trying to do? Calm down. There are still people watching." I couldn't hear a single word she said. Only one thought remained inside my burning mind. Too hot. If I don't cool down now, my kidneys are literally going to cook. I reached toward her waist with rough, uncontrolled movements. Shen Yue's beautiful eyes widened as she instinctively tried to resist. Then, with a ripping sound, I snatched the military canteen hanging from her belt. Before she could react, I unscrewed the cap and desperately poured the entire bottle into my mouth like a man dying of thirst. Water spilled down my chin and landed on my burning skin, instantly evaporating with loud, sizzling sounds. After finishing every drop, I casually threw the empty canteen aside and frowned. Not enough. It's still too hot. That little bit of water isn't nearly enough. Su Qingshu finally let out a long sigh of relief. So, he just wanted water. But for some reason, the moment she relaxed, an inexplicable urge to punch me suddenly appeared in her heart. Just then, another notification echoed through the group chat. "Skin has joined the group!" My skin immediately started screaming, "Hot, hot, hot! Brothers, stop burning me! My surface temperature is already over 100 degrees. Find somewhere cold before I crack apart." My eyes instantly activated their search mode. Cooling location detected. 50 meters to the right. There's an abandoned underground reservoir. The water quality is terrible, but the volume is sufficient. My eyes lit up. Without even glancing at the complicated expression on Su Qingshui's face, I turned around and staggered toward the old reservoir as fast as I could. Splash! I threw my entire body into the freezing, slightly foul-smelling water. The moment I entered, enormous clouds of white steam exploded into the air, just like dropping a piece of red-hot iron into a bucket of water. The entire reservoir began boiling violently. Finally, I stuck my head out of the water and took a long, relieved breath. I'm alive! That burning sensation is finally fading. But before I could enjoy the relief, my skin suddenly became excited. Wait, there's something mixed into this water. It's full of that stupid dragon's blood and pieces of its shattered bones. My skin laughed excitedly. I've been jealous of that dragon's defense for ages. Now that it's dead, I'm taking its armor for myself. Open every pore. Activate full power devouring mode. Absorb its blood essence. I immediately felt a strange sensation spread throughout my body. The dark red blood floating on the surface suddenly rushed toward me as if attracted by a powerful magnet, rapidly flowing into every pore on my skin. An unbearable tingling sensation spread across my entire body. Then another notification appeared. Second rank mutated beast. Blood essence successfully absorbed. Mutation complete. Congratulations, passive skill acquired. Beginner bronze skin. Another message immediately followed. Defense increased by 500%. From now on, ordinary blades won't even be able to scratch you. Congratulations, you probably won't need to buy bandages ever again. I stared at my once pale arm in disbelief. It was now covered with a faint bronze metallic glow. I gently knocked on it with my fingers, and instead of flesh, a deep metallic thud echoed back. Wait, does this mean I'm actually bulletproof now? I couldn't help laughing. These crazy organs really squeeze every possible benefit out of everything. They didn't even let the monster's bathwater go to waste. About 10 minutes later, I climbed out of the reservoir and wrung out my soaking wet clothes. By then, Su Qingshui, Wang Pangzi, and the healer girl were standing beside the gigantic corpse of the iron-armored tyrant dragon, staring at me as if I were some kind of alien. An awkward silence filled the air until Wang Pangzi nervously swallowed and finally spoke. Brother Fan, was that really your doing? He pointed toward the enormous steel-like beast whose chest had been ripped apart and whose head had been smashed into bloody pulp. I scratched my head and deliberately looked away. If I told you it accidentally fell to its own death, you wouldn't believe me, would you? All three of them shook their heads in perfect synchronization. Su Qingshu stared into my eyes and asked, "Then who was that red-eyed monster riding on the dragon's back just now?" I let out a helpless sigh. There was no choice anymore. I could only use the emergency story my brain had prepared for me. Actually, but my family has a forbidden secret technique that's been passed down for generations. It allows me to burn away 10 years of my future lifespan in exchange for 1 minute of overwhelming power. The side effects are enormous. Every time I use it, I lose 10 years of my life and remain weak for several days afterward. As I spoke, I deliberately coughed twice and pretended that I was about to collapse. Ugh, I don't think I can stand anymore. My head is spinning. Wang Pangzi, give me a hand. The moment Su Qingshui heard that, every trace of suspicion disappeared from her eyes, replaced entirely by guilt. So, you sacrificed 10 years of your life just to save us. No wonder your whole body was burning and your eyes turned red. That wasn't berserk energy. It was your life force burning away. She bit her lip, her eyes turning slightly red as she whispered, Lin Fan, I'm sorry, I was too weak. I dragged you into this. Inside my mind, my brain sighed. Host, don't you feel even a little guilty for lying to such an honest girl? My kidneys immediately laughed. Guilty? Not at all. I really did overdraw all my stored energy. I wasn't lying. The only difference is, as long as I eat 2 good meals, I'll recover completely. I simply waved my hand with a righteous expression. Don't worry about it. We're classmates. Helping each other is only natural. Then I looked at all 3 of them seriously. But you have to keep this a secret. This forbidden technique is taboo. If the Academy finds out, they'll probably dissect me for research. Wang Pangzi immediately pounded his chest and declared, Don't worry, Brother Fawn. My mouth is sealed. From today onward, you're my real big brother. Su Qingshui nodded seriously as well. I'll report to the Academy that all of us worked together to kill the monster. Your secret will stay buried forever. With the crisis finally over, everyone happily began collecting materials from the dragon's corpse. The iron-armored tyrant dragon was a walking treasure. Its armored scales could be forged into armor, its claws could become powerful weapons, and the most valuable treasure of all was the beast core hidden inside its body. When Su Qingshui finally split open the dragon's skull and pulled out a fist-sized black beast core radiating violent energy, every organ inside my body completely lost its mind. A second-rank peak beast core, my stomach screamed. Give it to me! Hurry! If I eat that, I'll even be able to digest iron. After that, eating rocks will be no problem. My brain immediately interrupted. Calm down. Too many people are watching. Take it home and eat it secretly. Besides, your body is still in a weakened state. If you consume it now, you'll explode. I swallowed my drool with great difficulty before forcing myself to smile generously and saying, that beast core is far too valuable. I don't feel right taking it. Su Qingshui, you should keep it.